Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my review for episode 13 of Quantum Leap, entitled Family Style. So let's see if Quantum Leap delivered this episode in style or not. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel everyone, and welcome to my weekly review series for Quantum Leap. Well, I say weekly when the programme isn't preempted like it was last week. So in this episode here we find Ben cooking up a storm in a Indian restaurant. Yeah, he's leapt into the daughter of an Indian restaurant owner, and they're having some troubles. He comes to find out that actually this restaurant is going to burn down very soon, and he's there to stop it. Yes, he's there to stop this restaurant from burning down and this family drifting apart because of that. As the episode proceeds, we come to find out that a lot of money is actually owed to the person who owns the building. They come along and they start threatening the family, in particular Ben himself, the young woman that he is within. And they owe $30,000, and these people want it. They want it now. So what can they do? He gets them to agree to have one more evening because they've got a big promotional deal on to get people in. And this is in the year 2009. So he gets online and he creates a Groupon to try to get people to come in, sort of buy one, get one dinner free type of a deal, to get them at least $5,000 to keep these people off of their back, so to speak. As the story progresses, we come to find out that the father has passed away and it's been left to the mother. The other daughter is she really wants to be a chef, but she just hasn't get a chance to spread her wings. There's all this family stuff where the rest of the family all sort of estranged and this sort of a thing, and the mother's too proud to ask them for help. We get a lot of stuff with Ben and his backstory, because in this story it's very sort of it mirrors what happened to Ben when he was a young child with his mother and she owning a restaurant and all this. So we get a lot of character development like that, you know, that sort of a thing. And then we have the present day story. The present day story revolves around Ian. Now, if you remember at the end of the last episode, Ian, his face were on these pictures. This was the leaper that this woman remembered in that last episode and drew this face. So this is put to him, and he's asked whether he's leaped, at which point you're asking yourself, hold on a minute, haven't you got security or anything that actually tells you if someone has actually stepped into the leap chamber? Surely you would know. Surely this sort of stuff would be recorded somewhere, that it's been activated or whatever, systems and all this sort of a thing. But no, so they suspect that possibly he's leapt in the future. He's leapt in the future and he ain't reached that point yet where this decision for him to leap has come about. But will it or won't it? Was it Ian that leapt or wasn't it? All this stuff is yet to be found out. And this is where it opens the intrigue of the show. Now, Ian gets a day off and he goes and gets involved and starts talking to one of his ex-partners. There's a little bit of stuff there and this going on until he realises his way, so to speak. And then back in the past with Ben, the restaurant does burn down. The restaurant does burn down. Yes, it burns down to the ground. They've lost everything. But comes up with a fantastic idea to have a pop-up restaurant and try and get everyone involved. He sends his sister and mother off to go and get ingredients while he finds a location. He finds people who are having a wedding, or the setup for a wedding, a venue for a wedding, and they utilise that. They talk them into utilising that because they'll get some free food. Yes, free Indian cuisine, authentic Indian cuisine, which is what the daughter wants to cook. Now this episode here, right, now I know I sound like I'm mocking it, right, and I was a bit thingy at first. I went into it and I thought, okay, a nice simple story about family and all this sort of a thing. But then they threw in the mix the bit with the gun and all this sort of stuff. And I'm thinking, hold on a minute, why can't we just have a nice simple story? But this episode here, it does hark back to Quantum Leap of an old, in that it gives you a story that really isn't overly big. It's about family. And it's about family virtues and a family that sort of drifted apart after an individual has died within the family. and it's not just about saving this small core unit of this family. It's about bringing them all back together and the pleasures that that can do, and this mother being able to go off and live her life, a life that she's put on hold for her children and all this sort of thing. So in that, it's a very heartwarming kind of story. It's a very simplistic story, and it's a very down-to-earth story. And this is what Quantum Leap, this is what this series of Quantum Leap needs to focus on more, in my opinion. More stories like this. You didn't need the element with the people with the gun and you know, the person who owned the restaurant being owed money to, and you know, them being threatened and all this. That stuff wasn't required. You could have had a strong story here with just the elements existing without that single element. It would have still worked and given us a fantastic story. But it was a good episode. It was a fun episode. It was a small episode. It was nice to take a sort of step back to this slower paced, character enveloped episode. Yes, that's my thoughts on it. I've got a tortoise crawling around on the floor. It's this little fella here. Just on the side, but he's crawling around my feet because he has got a, you can see his tank behind me, or his vivarium, and he's got a run outside the front of that, but he starts clanging and banging in there. So whenever I come up here to film, I have to get him out and put him on the floor because he'll be bloody noisy because he wants a little bit of attention. And I'm stepping aside, aren't I, from the main thing? But yeah, you go. That's my thoughts on this episode. The episode ends with a tease of Ben leaping. Yes, now we tend to get either a tease at the end of these episodes, whether it's a leap or whether it's a sort of mystery kind of a tease. This one ends with a leap tease in that Ben, he leaps onto a Royal Navy warship at the point of firing its weapons. Where's he leapt to? Pearl Harbor? No, ain't Pearl Harbor. I thought he leapt into the cast and the sea, you know, the filming of Pearl Harbor. Ain't that? They're actually at sea. But it could be drills, it could be anything like that. We don't know until, you know, they could actually be at war. They could be fighting someone. We don't know. We don't know till we see the episode. But my suspicion is that it isn't. That it's more like drills that are being played out, you know, that the Navy do, that the military do, that sort of thing. But let's wait and see. Anyway, thoughts down below on this episode. Comments are always welcome. I got loads of comments on that last episode that was out. Fantastic, fantastic. Very divisive episode. Great stuff. So let me know what you thought of this episode. This step back to a quieter story kind of telling for Quantum Leap. And let's have a nice friendly discussion. That's what it's all about. I'll see you on the next one. Take care all and goodbye.